The coronavirus has caused an abrupt halt to our society. In order to keep this pandemic from spreading, the world has been forced to shut down schools, stores, and events. Coronavirus has limited us from our daily routine. I admit, the virus is causing harm to many businesses at the moment, and as well, it's deprived many people out of work. It's also harmed our society, taking over 2 million lives. It may seem difficult to believe that something good can derive from this depressing moment in history, but there has been proven to be some good outcomes out of this. Since coronavirus has closed down schools across the United States, this prevention measure has led us to no school shootings. This year was the first March in 18 years since 2002 to not have a school shooting. This is a big step for America, which is leading the world in the amount of school shootings per year. Another proven good outcome is that the pollution levels have dropped across cities and countries according to NASA. Since there has been a limited amount of people on the streets, it is relieving stress on nature, allowing for some improvements to happen for our environment. This quarantine has also forced us to care more for our health. The fact that a virus can spread in an instant and has been everywhere at this point is causing us to pay more attention towards staying safe. I also believe that this is the first time in forever where we all have something in common. It's the drive to try and stop the lethality of this disease. Our world is suffering as one, and I think this is the prime example of the world coming together and staying in quarantine. The less school shootings, the less pollution, and more health-conscious society we have due to COVID-19 are positives. I am Chanel Herrera from Miami High, and this is my student perspective.
Now, it is important to note that on Monday, Trump tweeted his reasoning behind this as a move to protect the jobs of the American people. Now, it is ironic how he is making an exemption for these foreign laborers to come into the country and work these American jobs that simply the American people cannot, and that is why we rely on the immigrant population to work these agricultural jobs. And unjust laws like this one place the immigrant community in a very vulnerable position. They are constantly receiving prejudice because of. On Wednesday, March 11th, the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a pandemic. During this time, a series of problems arose. One in particular astounded and caught many off guard. On Tuesday this week, President Trump ordered a temporary halt in issuing green cards, but made an exemption for guest workers.
Before this virus took over our lives, people were largely still behaving as if there was no biodiversity crisis. We would go about our busy lives, flying, driving, consuming, stacking our future to an economy that was killing the planet. Now, with majority of society being stuck at home, our planet is slowly coming to life. This may be a hopeful sign of how quickly natural systems may be able to bounce back when human behavior changes. I am Aaliyah from Miami High, and this is our student perspective.
Fear, pain, sadness, isolation. These are emotions that have infested the minds of many students across the world facing the consequences of living through a worldwide pandemic. As a student, my life consisted of leaving home early in the morning and coming home late in the afternoon. Now that I stay home all day and go out as least as possible, adapting has been no easy feat. It has been difficult adapting, but my instinct to survive motivates me to practice social distancing and other preventative methods of avoiding being infected by the coronavirus. I included pain in the first 4 nouns I listed as emotions that many are feeling because although this pain may not be physical, many of my family members still live in my home country, Cuba. Even though we have great resources and forms of staying safe, in other countries they have no way of knowing that they are infected. Neither do they have resources to practice preventative methods that save many lives. In many areas of Cuba, masks are a rare sight, and coronavirus tests are unheard of. Moving forward, not only has this pandemic struck fear, pain, and sadness, but there are many feeling isolated considering their safest place is home and alone. It has been spoken of throughout the community that the pandemic is causing a mental health crisis, which is common when facing the anxiety and depression that is inflicted on many when facing any sort of medical problem or crisis. The CDC has even posted articles in the past on many ways to deal with stress caused by diseases. All in all, the community is staying together by remaining physically apart. I am Naharjim Gonzalez, and this is my student perspective. Fear.
Ever since the coronavirus pandemic occurred, I feel that it's bringing a lot of pros and cons in the world. The pros is that our oceans are clearing up and our air pollution levels are decreasing. I don't know if anyone else will feel the same about this, but I think coronavirus was the Earth's call for help because it's helping Earth slow down climate change. The cons are that now some people are stuck in the house with an abusive person and it is causing them to commit suicide. In New Delhi, almost 7 suicide cases have been reported in the first 100 hours. Another con is that some families have lost their jobs and are now struggling to pay bills and buy food. This is why most families are thankful for the food drives and considerate landlords who extended their paying time. I am Shamari Ferguson speaking about my perspective with the coronavirus pandemic.